Do you like playing in the Gava?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I love playing here. I love Queensland as a state, not quite Western Australia, but when you come here, it's always great.
How do you sort of get yourself up and going and get yourself performing the way you want to?
How do I get myself up and going? I think just preparing as well as I possibly can, like every other game, and then playing what's in front of you.
How much ready for into this morning? I think they were out here this morning, and I think it was Virat pulled the team in and had a stern kind of conversation with them for at least 10 minutes. They looked determined to bounce back this week.
Yeah, I think as we saw last week, we're a good side and we bounce back, and we know that India are a really good side as well. So we expect them to bounce back, and I think in this big series, we know that's going to happen. So we'll do everything I can to make sure we get a win.
Can you just talk through how you managed that injury heading into Adelaide and you bowling loads all the rest?
Yeah, look, we had a really clear plan before the series started. I obviously didn't bowl as much as I probably would have liked in the lead up to a series, but our medical staff and Ronnie and Paddy were really clear on my lead up, and I trusted that. So haven't had to bowl too much so far, but right now the body's feeling really good.
Have you got a firm idea on what the problem has been? Is it something that's troubling you since that England one day tour? Do you actually know what the problem is?
I had a sore back, yeah. But as I said, right now it's feeling as good as it has felt. So just prepare for the game as normal.
Josh had a pretty important bowl the other day, and he said coming back from that would be the important bit as to whether he could play this week. Like, how has he been? Does he suggest that he's feeling okay?
Yeah, I think the great thing about Josh is he's a very level character. So he'll do everything he can to get up for the game, and then it's up to the selectors and the leadership group to tick that one off.
What's going on? What about Steve Smith? What does he have to do to show the real Steve Smith?
I mean, he doesn't have to do anything to show me the real Steve Smith. We know that he's one of our best players ever, and certainly backing him in to get a few runs.
The Indians are bowling very straight at him. That's clearly a plan. That's always been a strength of Smithy's, but it doesn't seem to be at the moment. Is it something he needs to work on?
I'm probably not in a position to be telling Steve Smith what he needs to work on. Look, we know he's a class player. He scored a lot of runs for Australia, and we know that certainly at times when we've needed him, he always seems to step up. So I've got full faith in Smudge.
Has the team talked about that result here last time and how much that hurt the group, losing the series in Brisbane and that record, kind of that 32-year streak, like returning to the venue in terms of the opponent and returning to the venue against India here?
I think the biggest thing for us is just focusing on this week and not what's happened in the past. And I think the way we bounced back from Perth was an example of that. So we're really focused on playing our style this week and hopefully going 2-1 up in the series.
It has been a long time, but since the Test match has gone to the 5th day, do you expect it to be anything like that? But I'm sure you haven't gone out and looked at the wicket yet, but it's unlikely that we're perhaps going to see a 5-day Test match again at the Gava.
Yep. Like
that match was. It was a ripper, wasn't it?
Yeah, nothing better than a 3-day Test.
There's been so much talk around Bumrah in this series and the way that he's bowled as well. If you at the start, you're the only top 7 batsman at the moment not to be dismissed by Bumrah.
It's coming.
What's it like facing him and kind of how tough is it and how do you go about it?
Look, yeah, I mean, we know he's right now probably the best bowler in the world. It's just about getting yourself up for that challenge. It's international cricket, it's a big series, and I think you want to take the best in the world on. That's certainly my mentality, and look forward to the opportunity of getting facing him again.
We've seen some low scoring tests here lately. We know about the true bounce of the Gava. Do you think that'll suit your counter-punching sort of style of cricket? We could have a low score and the way to approach it. Is that something you would think of keep approaching it?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I think I've had a really clear method over the last 18 months with the way I've gone about it. That'll continue.
Mitch, the Smith one, I know you probably don't want to talk about it, but
I don't know.
Yeah. Just like it didn't look like you get it from TV reports. TV replays. When you're out in the middle, more difficult.
It shouldn't be. The reality is I thought I hit it and I didn't. So and I didn't speak to Hetty. So yeah, I had a man.
Yeah.
There's a headline on Instagram, won't it? There you go.
Was it just that kind of like, oh, put crap on that kind of thing, like, oh, I've got to go? Like,
Yeah, honestly, I just thought I hit it, so I walked off. And then, yeah, it's funny. I got in the change room, Scazzer asked me if I hit it, and I said, yeah, smashed it, mate. And then the replay came up, and head went into the hands, and about 1 minute later, everyone was laughing at me. So, yeah, my bad.
can you talk us, you probably talk a bit about it, I suppose, maybe this test in this industry, some people might think, but especially Melbourne, Sydney, just have about it.
Yeah, obviously world-class bowler. I think if you look down the lineups of both teams, there's world-class bowlers everywhere. So as a batter, it's about, I guess, planning as well as you can and trying to get on top of them.
You're touching the plans before the series, just in terms of the length of the series, and like you're ensuring the team's playing as best as well as it can be at the end of the series. How much of a consideration is that in terms of the broader plans that you've got for the team and bowling unit? Sorry, just in terms of to make sure that you get up to the 4th and 5th test, which has always been the way for the team in recent years. Like, how much of a plan has that been, and how much work's got in the background there?
Yeah, I don't have a lot to do with conversations in the background. But I think we've had a few guys say that everyone's preparation was a little bit different this summer, and what that looks like is different for everyone. But it's all about getting up for each and every game. This week's no different.
Did you feel it was a bit of a fair bit of faith in the selectors? Like, if you weren't going to be able to bowl too much in that level, there's obviously concerned Aiden McKean, who was an all-rounder who was mostly going to bat, but also a fair bit of faith in the bowlers that they were going to be able to take wickets quick enough that it wasn't going to put too much on workload on them, if you know what I mean.
I think if you look back at the last few Adelaide Oval tests, the 5th bowler hasn't been used a hell of a lot. Nathan Lyon bowled 1 over for the whole test match, so I guess there was a bit of forward thinking in that. But yeah, I was ready to bowl required last test, so every test is so well planned from both our medical staff and the main guys.
And given what the game has been like for the last couple of years, you're sort of going to this test with the same theory that the 5th bowler may not be required to start this one either.
Let's hope so.
It's just, when you have a bowler like Justin Bumrah, and there are other good bowlers as well in the lineup, but can there be a game plan about literally just playing him out and scoring of the others, like you have to play as a batting group you did in that game?
I think each batter has their own plans, and as a batting unit we back each other's plans. I think if you've got the best bowler in the world, you're just trying to see him off. He's going to have one with your name on it. So I think it's about applying pressure with your own method. We all bat differently, and just taking that challenge on.
So does it become a tactical? Does it become a tactical thing then, like where you kind of see him off, like even in Adelaide, he bowled the 7th over, and he wasn't the same. He came back to the 7th. How much does that go?
I think, yeah, like I said, everyone has their own individual plans. We all bat differently, so getting through a spell, the situation in the game, sometimes you have to get through a spell, sometimes there's a time to attack. And we have guys down our batting lineup that just play differently. So getting through your own way and also moving the game forward is really important when you're facing one of the best attacks in the world.
Mitch, how are you handling the fatherhood experience? What's that been like?
I've only been there for about 6 days, so I've been sleeping terribly, darling. It's been tough. No, it's been, I'm 3 weeks into being a dad, and it's the best thing ever. It's a sign from her, maybe. Yeah, it's the best thing I've ever done. She's a little champ, so it's been awesome.
I mean, there was a report about maybe with Nathan Lyon maybe playing bowled and like Hazelwood here and not playing line, but would that be a risk considering Lyon's record here?
Yeah, I'm fairly certain Gaz will play.
Pat sort of said the other day that you're making sure not to bowl in the nets, just not to waste the amount of bowling that you have in you. Is there a certain amount of bowling that you can have over the next few weeks, like in your mind, in terms of workload?
Not in my mind, no. I think just try and be ready to bowl as much as Paddy needs me. Our all-rounders haven't bowled a hell of a lot in Australia over the last few years. But I guess I'm really thankful for our medical staff and Ronnie and Paddy that allowed me the space in between that first and second test to just get right for the game. And guess there was a fair bit of noise about it. I felt rather important actually. My body feels really good now. I've had an interrupted lead-in, but right now I'm really well placed. And, for me, it's just about trying to contribute, whether it's 5 overs and bowling the occasional good ball and getting wicket, or just bowling overs to give our boys a chop out. I love it.
How much fatherhood again? Which, I mean, suddenly there's so many of you are like newborns. Is there something else now you can talk about? You can get a break from cricket and talk about something else. You should talk about those things now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I actually had a chat with Alex Carey this morning, just walking to get a coffee, and there's always cricket chat, but it was more fatherhood. He's a few years ahead of me now, so the boys are amazing. There's a lot of family vibe in this group, and that's hugely important.
How much can a raucous home crowd help? Because I know it helped Hetty in Adelaide, you play well in Perth. Aussie needs some runs. Do you reckon this crowd can lift him?
From my experience, the Gava crowd's awesome. It always feels a lot louder, just really loud here. So Aussie's the hometown hero. He's the people's champ, and there's no doubt people get around him.
Well, sweet, everyone. Thanks, man.
Thanks guys.